my most exciting experiences on the ship was when they had to go up that ladder, which was a rope ladder sort of with attached at the bottom and attached at the top, and it swayed. And that used to scare me more than the German planes going over, because that was dangerous. The ship would be rocking. I could swear that I was almost ready to touch the water when it went one way and back the other way. And just to get up into that bucket up there, 77 feet off the water. Once you got up there and got in, it was fine, but going up and down was dangerous. And it would get all ice covered, you know, it was cold too.
I guess, you know, especially when you look down and you see how high you are.
I never did like heights.
Yeah,
that
was
swaying. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
One of the jobs I didn't like, but I had pretty lucky on board ship. I was in the wheelhouse. I worked at the telegraphs, which gives you the speed, and they tell you to put half speed on or whatever. You pull the lever, and that would tell the engine room what speed to go. And that was inside, no windows. You couldn't see out. You were all just told. And then I would be allowed to steer the ship when we weren't in action.
Yes.
As soon as we went in action, then they brought in someone else to take over, and then I would go on the telegraphs. But it was interesting steering the ship. You get your directions from above. The captain would shout down through the pipe, you know, 10 degrees starboard on, you know, and you turn her starboard 10 degrees and yell, 10 degrees starboard on, sir.
How many sets of uniforms did you have?
Two.
Two?
Yeah, I had the regular one.
Did you have to wash your own clothes from time
Oh
to time?
yeah. Yeah, a lot of them just dragged it over the side of the ship, you know, things like that. Yeah, we had, and then we could buy what they called a tiddly uniform, which every guy did. Whenever you went ashore, you wore what they called a tiddly. It was a spiffed up one with nice, everything was nice. The other was all wool, heavy wool, and this one here is sort of nice, light serge material. Mm-hmm. And you doll all up to go ashore with the tiddly, but yeah, we had the white and a black dark uniform. I could handle myself pretty well, but there was a guy from, he was from Prince Edward Island, and he was a great big guy. He was miserable. He slept in the top hammock, and I was in the bottom hammock, and there was a guy in the middle. And he'd say, you better not be in your hammock when I gotta get up there, because I'm stepping in your hammock to get into mine. And I'd always make sure I wasn't in my hammock when he was ready to get up there. If he was ready to get, I'd get out. Mm-hmm. He was a big bruiser, and I didn't fool around with him. Mm-hmm. But he fooled around with other guys, so I was lucky. And you know, one interesting thing was there was an older guy, to me he seemed like he was about 50, and he just loved to sit at the rear of the ship where the depth charges were. And he'd work on them and clean them, and even when he wasn't on duty, he was always there. And then one time when they had a ping on a sub that was supposedly pretty close, and the voice came over the loudspeaker there to drop a depth charge at 50 feet as soon as possible, you know. Well, this guy was right there, and he had whatever happened, and it was just, he got recommended for being so good. He dropped it real quick, and that even shook our ship because it went off real close, you know, and only at 50 feet, so it was, that was kind of exciting. And I remember everybody saying how great this guy was, because he just lived beside the depth charge throwers. So that was kind of interesting. But scary was just the plain, you know, I can't understand myself that I was never really frightened, and I never really thought I was going to come back, actually. You know, it just seemed to me, you go over there, you fight, you get killed, and that was what everybody was happening.